very much more comfortable now that I know what to expect. You know, I've learned how to take care of them better because we've been doing it a while. And I know what, at first it was kind of like, you don't know what to do, you know, but you do know that just give them love, you know, be there for them, and but then you learn the other things, right?
Yes, it's expectations at first where, you know, you're going to get a great
Change
kid
somebody.
that was going to be, and they do have some problems at first, but the great part about it is you see them changing and settling down in your house.
Is there anything else that you might want to add involving your experiences with the kids?
I think that, and let's go back to any new people watching this, is that you will never have something as rewarding as this. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how big your house is. I don't care how many cars you have in the driveway. It doesn't matter, because if you're not helping some kids out there and they truly need help, I mean every day, somebody needs some help out there, then I kind of want to ask you, what are you doing?
Well, I just think that you're going to hopefully make this person go out and be able to take care of themselves in the world and take a little bit of what we've given them
that's a good idea.
and be a better person.
That we do, and we consider them our children.
Part of our family.
Yes.
So they'll come back Thanksgiving, and hobnob with all the rest of the gang. They know all our children. We, as you well know, we very rarely send our children a respite.
Yes.
Where we go, they go. Type thing. We try to make as complete a family atmosphere as we can.
We don't like to have. We don't do separate.
Once you get the kids' trust, and they see that you're straight with them and you treat them decently. One guy came here and told us, where he in the foster homes he was in, he wasn't allowed to go in the refrigerator. Okay, and he found it unbelievable that he could come go in our refrigerator and get juice
and drink it,
drink as much as he wanted. Okay, and he used to drink that juice and go, ah, boy. And he told
why he enjoyed that so much.
He said, "You just don't know."
Yeah.
He would just stand there, holding the refrigerator open and looking inside. He says, "This is the only home I've ever been in where I can go in the refrigerator and get stuff."
Now that's something we take for granted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, you just don't know what these children go through.
They do.
Miss Adrian, I do believe in my heart that you all done well with what you all use. For the first and foremost thing is care. And these children, you all shows, honest, that you all care about these children. They're just not a number. They mean something to you all. I had a conversation with my sister not too long ago, and she was saying that children just talk all the time. And I said to her, how would you know what's on their mind if you tell them to shut up? That's the way that we was raised. Children are to be seen and not heard. Not with me. Some things you don't want to hear, but you you listen anyway, because if they're closed up and not tell you what's going on, you don't have no way to fix it.
We get teenage boys have had problems with their biological fathers or their stepfathers or whatever, and there's a lot of transference of anger towards the male. Now, she doesn't have, I guess, that much of a problem with that because
I understand, and because I was told that in the beginning by Adrian, that you're never going to make them want to be with you. They're going to want to be with their parents. They love their parents. That's biological. They can't. That's the way it is. So you accept that.
Your family's very active, and you do a lot of.
Wow, a lot, yeah.
Yeah, you do a lot. How have the children been integrated into, or have they had issues in integrating into, just your family's normal activities?
At first, but he used to be very quiet and not really want to go.
Yeah, he didn't want to go to places.
Yeah, but once we do it enough, he gets.
We go to
he
the
likes it. He
beach.
gets
We
excited about it.
We go crabbing. We go on the water. We go to football games.
And he's so proud of himself when he went out there and
Yeah,
did it.
yeah.
But then he didn't want to do it again. It's like, I don't know if I want to do that again. No, but
Well, we do a lot of
we make him
activities.
go with us. I mean, he's part of the family. He goes to whatever we do.
Focusing on working with our children on independent living skills.
Right.
How do you guys implement
Yeah,
that?
I work
into
with
your
Zach
home?
with that.
all the time.
Every day.
Every day.
And he doesn't really want, he knows how to do these things that I've taught him, like cook, and, how to go grocery shopping, or how to fill out an application for a job, or and he knows, but he doesn't want to do it, so it's repetitive. We tell him all the time, oh, can't you make it for me? And I'm like, hey, you know how to make macaroni and cheese, but you can make it for me.
The independent
He
living
knows how,
skills.
and so we do that every day. We do that every day.
It is something that
When you
has.
go out with them.
It's just like school. He's got his schoolwork, and then he's got his independent living skill objectives to meet.
Part of being a foster parent is sharing responsibility of parenting with the family consultants as well as the social workers. How have you guys been able to manage that?
I think we manage it pretty good.
Yeah, I get.
You
very
do
much,
certain things, and then I do certain things,
But as far as
and then we come
getting,
together.
yeah, with the social worker and with the caseworker,
Right.
they're always there for me. I mean, I haven't had any problems with that at all.
We just share responsibilities, and then we come back and
usually
we come
when they
together.
come here and they see us and they see the house and everything, they feel really good about it.
The family that I end up going to stay with, they came and took me out a couple weekends or whatever, came to the house for home visits for the weekend. Real nice people, and that was just basically it. So I can't really say that, I had a problem with the agency because they really, at the time, really, bent over backwards with me as far as my situation. And it was just crazy because my dad was still in the area. So it was never no issue of like, hey, you're here, but you can't, interact with your father or anything like that or your family on that side.
You spoke about how the family that you were with supported your biological family's relationships. Can you go into a little bit more detail how they actually did that?
Yeah, like it's kind of crazy because it was like I had like two sets of parents, if that makes sense. And it was like if I did something wrong, like school, in the home or whatever, they was real quick to call, my dad was like, hey, this is going on with your son or whatever. Maybe you need to come over here. We can all sit down, and just try to hash this thing out. So it was never like my father was ever out of the loop on anything that was going on, with me. Their thing wasn't just like, you're here, but we know you have a real father. I know he's still concerned, even though you don't live with him. So whatever goes on, we're just going to keep your father in the loop, whether it's good or bad. Oh, yeah, that happened. That happened kind of early. Their son, Simon Jr., first time I ever got my haircut when I finally was officially placed in a home. And we went to go get a haircut. I guess it was just some friends of the family that he knew from school and things like that. And when I first walked up in there to the barbershop, the guy asked him, like, hey, is this your brother? And he could have said, no, my mom's and them takes in foster kids or whatever. And he was just like, yeah, that's my brother. So right there, that kind of made me feel like, all right, these people aren't trying to make me feel, less than what I should. Because I was already feeling embarrassed that I was in a foster home anyway. So having to try to explain that to classmates and things like that, folks that didn't understand, it just felt really wonderful for these people to go ahead and accept me. He didn't have to do that, but he did. And even when I went to go visit their family down in North Carolina, nobody, when I would go down there, they never introduced me as like, oh, this is just, my aunts or whatever foster kid. They introduced me as like, look, this is my cousin. He lives in Virginia.
Are there any specific skills that you guys have learned in working with Carpe Diem in order to deal with some of these children's behaviors and trauma that they've experienced?
It's a lot of skills. We have training every month you know, and other than those med things.
I knew you would say that one.
Other than that, you know, I found them to be helpful. You know, we talk about how to deal with anger, consequences. You know, we talk about a lot of good things. Elliot, I know for a fact, has tried several things that that would try to help us out. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. You know, but that's what I like about the agency, because y'all do try to help the caregivers.
Are there any specific skills that you guys have learned since becoming foster
Patience.
parents?
Big time.
I don't think you have enough film for for all the things we've learned.
Okay.
You know, it seems like we've been doing it for a long, long time, because every day is a challenge.
At first, it's really frustrating because you're used to telling, like, my kids to do something a couple times and they do it. With ours, you know, certain kids don't have that ability, so you have to tell them over and over and over again.
But don't you think
and then after a while, at first it's frustrating, but after a while you just get used to it.
Don't you think you have to reach back in your training now and go, oh yeah,
I go to him for
went
training.
over it, right? You know, and when you talk to the different people, Rebecca at the time, and Matt and Adrian, and
Everybody's
and
always
everybody
there.
down there at the service, that, you know,
It's very normal.
very, very,
You
yeah.
learn that it's just the way it is.
It's normal.
Everybody comes together when there's somebody to take care of.
I think we communicate more too as a family, don't you?
Yeah,
I mean,
well, we have to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if a problem arises or something is going
When you sit
on.
down to have a conversation.
Yeah,
together.
we've had more sit downs with
because we need to
explaining.
with him.
Right.
So that means everybody gets together.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
More than it would if he wasn't there.
Are there any specific forms of support that you guys have found very helpful over the past few years?
I can answer this one. The other parents.
Uh-huh.
When we go to those meetings, I'm always saying that we actually even need more time with the parents, the other parents, because just sitting there listening while we're eating our meal before the meeting actually starts, you learn so much, because some of these people have 15, 20 years, 25 years even of experience, and you learn, and you listen, and you ask questions, and what do you think about this, and what do you think about that? So in those monthly meetings that we have, that's where I really find, and then the meeting itself usually is on different topics.
You guys are speaking about the treatment team, or just the other individuals that are involved with our kids. How do you feel, or do you feel as though that aspect of foster care, how does that affect, I guess, the grand scheme of things when it comes to treatment, those additional services?
Well, without the additional services, or without that, I mean, we'd be lost. We need that. We need the case manager. We need to know the direction to go. We need that help, because it's key. It's key to keeping us surviving and going, giving us the direction, because there's a lot out there, and mentally, we need that positive reinforcement, just like the child does.
Here I am, like almost 20 years later. So, I think it worked out for the best. These people put me in a situation to be successful. I tell anybody that's come through the house, every foster child that they've gotten that I've been around, I've basically told everybody the same thing. You don't have to look at your situation, look at it like, well, I'm not at home, so I can't make this work for me, because I made it work.
Are there any positive experiences that stand out since becoming a foster parent?
Seeing the growth from the residential, watching him grow from the residential setting, and seeing what we've done and how much we have been able to change his behaviors and attitudes has been huge, and that's so rewarding.
I can only point the direction. If you go this way and I point that way, then there's not a whole lot. I can't make you go that way. And he understands that, I think, for the most part. Just still has a hard time with it.
Yeah.
You guys have done a really good job in maintaining relationships with children after they've left your home.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
think
Would
so.
you mind, just going into a little bit detail, maybe not sharing specific names, but just how you benefited from, some of those relationships being extended, or maybe you've been able to continue to help those children?
We have. We've helped quite a few of them. One of our boys' son passed away, and he didn't have money. But he called us, and we helped him. When he left here, we told him, if you need us, call us. If you just need to come by or just need to talk, always feel free that we're here.
You guys started doing foster parenting over 15 years ago.
Over 30 years ago.
Over 30 years ago. 15 with our agency, at least. Foster parenting is an extremely difficult job. What are some of the, or calling, some may call it, what are some of the strengths that allowed you and your husband to maintain so long and to have such a positive influence on so many different children? What are some of the things that you guys possess? And it's okay to brag. This is
Nothing special. We raised 6 natural children.
okay.
Yes.
We adopted her
Well,
niece.
before we adopted the 2 from you, we adopted my niece.
Her niece. And then we had
And
2
3 nephews.
3 nephews. The other positive, in my opinion, was a young man we had here. He came in. They moved him from another family that was an agency, and he said that I don't want to go to school here because I want to be in ROTC. They don't have a ROTC program in Nansemond River.
Okay.
And he was real cranked up about that. I mean, he was real cranked up. But his big problem was he couldn't read. He couldn't read. Okay, he really couldn't. And we took him up to the school to get him registered for school. And there's a lady I know up there that worked in the guidance department. I went and talked to her and told her what his situation was. And she took him in the office and she wrapped him for about an hour and 20 minutes. Okay, and he came out, and we came home. We got along fine. He was a very clean boy, hard working. He didn't give us too much. Didn't give us any problem.
He didn't give us any problem.
Okay, but he started working on his reading. Okay, and by the time he got out of school, at the end of the year, he was reading. He could read. It wasn't deep reading, but he could read. But
Yes.
before that, he
couldn't read.
He couldn't read. But he worked on that thing, and he was able to read, and he went on a senior trip and all that. He worked down at the food line down here, and everything. And it was a real positive relationship we had with him. We still keep in touch with him. He's back in Newport News, of course, but we keep in touch with him. He's got a couple of kids that stop by.
Well, obviously I haven't been in the agency anymore because I'm grown now. But when I first got involved with them, and I'm gonna kind of answer a couple questions in this one. But when I first got involved with them, I really didn't know what to expect. First time not being in my natural home or whatever. Was in a couple of group homes, detention centers. Nothing really serious. I wasn't like a bad kid. I just did stupid things when I was younger, which, I like to say, quote unquote, ended me up in the system. I don't think I can tell them, and it's like I told all the other foster kids that I've met, it's just that you have to make this situation work for you. Everybody at some point in their life, whether they got a degree, whether they don't have a degree, at some point in time, you're going to be dealt a bad hand. Everybody has. There's no person walking this earth that hasn't been dealt a bad hand. But it's what you do with that bad hand that defines your character. And I always say that. I was like, life has thrown me a curve, but it's what I do with that curveball that defines my character. Am I going to let this situation beat me back? Am I going to make excuses like, oh, well, you know, my mom's in and out of jail, so that's why I can't excel in this area. Or, you know, I got placed in a foster home, so, you know, I'm a loser because of that situation. See, and that's the wrong type of thinking. Any foster kid or anybody that, you know, is getting placed into a foster home, I have to tell them, like, look, you know, life is not always going to be easy, but you can make it easier by doing what these people tell you to do because they have your best interests at heart. Because